Okay. Are you all able to access the recordings?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's say you have a like the employee names. So what will happen? And let's say employee name is Gautam Saha. Somebody will write the same name as right. Then mobile number, somebody will write like this. Then somebody will write right. Are you following what is happening here? Okay. Now, do you see any problem in this?
Different patterns, sir.
Yes.
Different pattern.
Different
Pattern.
spellings, right? So what happens here is if you try to do a filter, then everything goes for a toss. Like Kolkata, you have different spellings, right? West Bengal, somebody writing WB, somebody writing Bengal, somebody writing zip code like this, somebody writing a date like this. So how do you overcome this problem? If you are sending a file or if you have received a file also, you can do this. First step that you should do is you should select this data here first. Then you have here what we call as data validation. Under data, there is data validation here. If you click on it, you get by default, you get here by default all this. Let's make it a list. Okay. And if you want the same values to be so that person can't choose anything else, you can have a list like this. Okay. So what will happen? System will put a list here like this. And the person can't choose any other value. Or even if they choose a value, you can circle the invalid data. That means any data that does not match what you have in this list will be highlighted in red circle. Okay. Same thing, let's say for city, I do a list like this. I go to list and I have list of cities. Let's say Chennai, Delhi, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Bangalore, or Mumbai, Bengaluru. Okay, and let's have one from Guwahati. Okay, so these are all the cities that we have. Now, anything that does not match what we have in the list, system is going to make it red in color. And once I do the correction, by choosing the correct one, system will now remove the red line. Got it? For example, in case of pin code, can you tell me what kind of list we can do? What kind of validation we can do? There are so many here. So we can say it can be a whole number, which is between, which is, let's say, starting from 1 to 9999999. Anything which does not meet that criteria will be circled in red. Similarly, for date, we can give a range or we can give a particular format based on which. In case of mobile, we can give something like this. We can give a range in case it is a whole number. We can give like 1, 1. Okay, so that can be a range. Anything that does not fit it within those 10 digits will be flagged. Followed?
So, sir, this one is used for to rectify any data which is wrongly
One,
written or
to
something.
rectify the data, and second, if you are collecting some data, then do this first so that you don't have to go and do any changes later on.
But sir, if someone has written in a wrong way, so after that, can I change it, sir?
Yes, like he has written this in wrong way. I go here, I choose the correct one, it will disappear.
Okay.
This is much easier to do the correction. Now, sometimes what happens, there are people, even if you tell them, they will not follow what you have written, what you are telling them, right? So they will still write like this. Now they will get a message which is a bit cryptic. So instead, what you can do, you can come here, you can go to data validation, and there is an error alert. What is the error alert? It will tell them a more accurate message. Incorrect data chosen. Choose the correct city name from the list. So I hope it is a more descriptive one. So if someone tries to enter something wrong, which is a more specific message that I am giving to the users. Okay.
So, sir, I have to do this before someone make these entries, right? Lit, um, right, sir?
Sorry, can you say that again?
What I'm saying, sir, when someone before making these entries, so I have to use this option before that, right?
Ideally, that is the best time so that people don't make incorrect entries.
So later, if he done something, if he made a list like something like that, then I'll be able to rectify this.
Yes, then you have to go and manually do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Sephora, you okay with this?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay. Now see, just you will say that when I am trying to write something and I get a message, or I say WB, and system is returning me an error, or I write this. This is only after person enters an incorrect value. You may want to stop him from entering an incorrect value. Maybe you want to be proactive. So what you can do, there is something called as an input message. In input message, you can say, choose the right city from the list. Choose the correct city name from the list. So what happens here? Moment he comes, brings his cursor here to enter something, it will tell him that choose the right city from the list.
This is better than the output message, right? So this is
Yes.
proactively.
Yes. So this is more proactive. We are telling the user upfront that this is how it is to be done. So to choose the value, so right then he should be able to see. Now you are trying your best. Whether the person sees or not, you can't control that. But you are at least trying to be proactive, trying to help him. You click elsewhere, the message goes. You again click on this, message comes back. Okay. Now see, just like you guys are doing this class, there will be people, colleagues in your office who would have also done a similar class. They will say, oh, this guy has put a data validation. Now I know I can fix it. So what he will do, he will show his expertise by going here and then changing the spelling. He'll say, I'll show you how we can fix it. He has done it. I will fix his. Intentionally, he might force you. Now all these have become incorrect and he's forcing you to make a wrong data here. Anybody can do this, correct? You see the problem?
But you don't have to provide the edit access, no, sir.
Now see, you are sending the Excel. If you are asking him to fill it up, how will you stop him? You have to give him access to this cell, right? Otherwise he can't choose a value.
Because but you have to lock the cell. I don't.
Yes. Then you have to lock the cell. You have to do a lot of things here. So one easy option here is, what you can do, let's say we have the list of cities here, states, list of states. I will have another sheet, which I will call as my, let's say, master sheet. In the master sheet, I will have this as my state. Okay. So here I will write like Assam, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Okay. Then A, B, C, 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 D, E, F, G, Haryana. Okay, Gujarat. And we can make a list here, right? All our states of the. Now, once you have made this list, what you can do is come back to this state that you have now, click on the data validation, make it list, and from the source, pick up these. Once you do this, the list will be picked up from there. You don't have anything over here. And other thing you can do in this master, you may say they will go and make the change here again. Now, what you can do, you can one, hide it. Two, you can protect it. You can put a password. ABC. ABC. Now, someone tries to fiddle with it. They will get this list. You come here and you try to change something, system will not allow you. Right? So usually, if you are going to be using data validation and multiple data validation and all that, it is always a good idea to have a separate data master or list, or call it something different, master sheet or list sheet. Different people call it by different names. You can have a list, call it list. So you will have the list of states, list of cities, everything you can put here. You can have a city list. Then you can have a product list. You can have a category list, salespeople, region, country. So all these can be in one particular sheet, which you are going to protect. Got it? So suppose you have region, let's say we'll put it as Americas, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia. Okay. And then we can have the countries. So whenever you have a list here, you can pick that value from there. Suppose you have a list of region here, then you come here, go to data validation, make it any list, any value, and from here, come to list and select the ones that you want to show. Okay. So this is one way in which you can keep all your list related things in single consolidated place. So it is easier to manage it, update it, and keep the things in within control. If you have it all over the place, all over the Excel, it is very confusing. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now let me show you some of the other types of data validation that are there. This is the data validation where I can have it for, date type. So I can give a date between, let's say 112020 and 1, this is, let's say 712022. So dates between these two will be picked up. If there is any other date, suppose I give a date like this, system will not allow. It has to be 1120 onwards. Okay, or 7122. That is accepted. This is not accepted. This format is not allowed. So if I have to use February, I have to say, got it? Then I could also have something like, length. Suppose I have a product code. Usually product codes have a uniform numbering method. Let's say 6 characters or 10 characters or something like that. Then you can come here, you can say text length. Text length equal to, you can say 6. That means whatever you write, it has to be 6 digit. 7 digit, it will not accept. Accepted. Accepted. Got it? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now here data validation, you can find different things. Date, you can put a time, start time, end time, you can put a decimal and things like that. Okay. Do you want to try this now or should I continue? Okay. Since I didn't get a response, I'll assume I'll continue. You guys, you can try later and let me know. Now let me show you something advanced in data validation. Suppose I have something like this. Let's say cuisine. Oh, sorry. Suppose I have something like this. Let's say cuisine and menu. That means my cuisine can be from the list. I will say here, cuisine is Indian, Chinese, continental, and let's say Mughlai. I can sort it also alphabetically. Okay, next, under Chinese, I will have, let's say, Momo, then chili fish, then I will have chow mein, okay, fried rice, 4 items. Let's not make it too mouth-watering. We'll feel hungry. Then Indian have, let's say, naan, then paratha, then dal makhani, okay, and chicken tikka. And continental, let's say lasagna, chicken kebab, ala kebab. Okay, then steak and let's say wine. Okay, and Mughlai will have kebab, kebab. Let's make it kebab. Then we'll have biryani, chop, okay, and firni, let's say. Now, what we'll do here is, I will have a list of cuisine. Okay, go to data validation, go to list, and I choose the source from my list where I can choose this as so I can choose a Chinese, continental, Indian, Mughlai. Depending on Chinese, the menu should display the Chinese items. If I choose Indian, then the Indian items will display. Got it? Till 16. Okay. Now to do this, there is a small trick that we'll have to do. The trick is, first we will select them and rename them. How do we rename them? If you remember, in the first class we had done, we had said you have a range of cells and we can call them by different names. So this will become Chinese. This will become Indian. This will become continental. And this will become Mughlai. Got it? Now here the trick that we'll have to do is, we will go to data validation. And here we'll use a custom formula. We call it as formula. Here we'll write equal to indirect. What does indirect mean? Indirect means whatever value we are choosing here, we will indirectly pick it up. So now see what happens. If I choose Chinese here, Or is it from there? One. So it is coming, but why is it not showing? Oh, no, this one is Chinese, right? So this is Chinese. This is Indian. This is continental. This is Mughlai. It is coming properly, but see here it is highlighting this. Okay, but it is not showing in the drop down. Oh, I think instead of us, this is what was going wrong. Instead of putting it in list, I had put it in custom. See now, instead of continental, if I choose Chinese and I click here, my menu will change. Can you see this? Momo, chili fish, chow mein, fried rice. Now, if I choose Indian, then I get the Indian menu. Naan, paratha, dal makhani, chicken tikka. Then if I choose continental, it will show me a different list. And then if I choose Mughlai, it will show me something else. Got it?
Sir, where do you use this kind of options?
This is, suppose you have this list dependent on this one. City, state, bank, branch. Okay. Suppose you have the state here. Then you have the city. This is one pair. Then you can do bank and branch. Right? So you're dependent on the bank, your branch will come.
So this is using as a subdivision, right?
Correct. So let me explain that again. What did I do? In the list, I first made a list for cuisine. Okay. So if I do a bank, I will first do a list for bank. And then for each cuisine, I listed the items and name them whatever the name is. Like this is Chinese, so I called it Chinese. Can you see here on the left hand side? It's Chinese. This is Indian list, so I selected it, called it Indian. This was continental, I made it continental. This was Mughlai, I made it Mughlai. And then first, this is direct data validation where I picked it up from the list. And in the second one, again, it is list, but here I use the formula called indirect. What indirect does is, indirect will look for this word in the names menu. In the first class, if you remember, we had